Unless you're like a Transformers fan, you have no idea War for Cybertron was
Yep.
coming. It's really sad.
So I found out it was coming a week ago, and apparently it's already out.
But
Just
you
like, oh,
know,
cool.
that seems to be the pattern for Netflix announcing anything. It's just like, and it's
Mm.
here. You're like, what? Like,
Oh, now I gotta watch it.
yeah, okay, I'll watch it. What shocks me is that like they're not advertising it, but it's literally might be the best iteration of Transformers ever. Like it's kind of
Fucking hell.
shocking. I don't get it, but I guess we'll see.
Might have to check it out myself then.
Yeah, it's dude, the animation. Oh my god, it's come a
Is
long
it is
way.
it 2D or is it 3D?
Uh, cell shaded 3D that looks like real
So
world.
a bit like Dragon Prince.
Yeah, I can't describe it. It's really good looking. Like it has this unique style that just clicks with Transformers perfectly.
So I'll
Yeah,
check it out then.
it's got me back into like I'm gonna replay those PS3 games that came out for it.
Oh, what, the War of Cybertron, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
War and Fall of
Yeah.
Cybertron. Oh, now I'm all
Yes.
back in my Transformers hype. So I'm like, yes, yes. Good old. Did you see that Witcher thing? Man, so much more Witcher.
Yeah, apparently there's a ton of spin-offs. Ton
Yeah,
of spin-offs happening. It's like, man, it's gonna be crazy.
I mean,
Got an animated movie or whatever it is
but
for season 2.
yeah, the fact that they're gonna do the conjunction of the Spheres TV series,
Yeah, that's nuts.
I'm like, if they go hardcore into this and they explain that actually the series takes place possibly in our future, and like we get transported to another dimension where humans have nothing and have to rebuild, it's gonna be like, whoa, that shit's hardcore,
Yeah,
man. Like
that's kind of like this is like the LSD's kicked in. Just
what
like,
what Netflix should do is start it off in like a cyberpunk style world and then do the
yes,
conjunction, and then it's like, wait a second, are they
yes.
trying to get a cyberpunk series as well?
There is a Cyberpunk series, isn't there?
uh
Studio Trigger's doing it.
oh yeah, oh no, oh I'm gonna
That's gonna look amazing. That
yeah, it
series.
is.
Trigger does some nutty stuff with animation.
After they were announced, I looked them up. I was like, oh yeah, I know who these guys are. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, so
good old kill the kill. It's like,
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, so the podcast, we're back. Yes, that we are. All you members, make sure you go check out that members tab. I believe on Saturday or Sunday should be done processing by then. If you're on the audio commentary tier, you're gonna see Far From Home drop. So that's gonna be pretty good. I mean, Mitch just did it. We squeezed it right in there, but unfortunately can't make it for August because of that damn processing time. But man, we had a good time doing that film.
great film.
Oh,
Great
what a
movie.
great
Great
Spider-Man
movie.
film. Jesus, what I forget how much I love it, and every time I watch, I'm like, yeah, I get so amped for it.
So it's one of those where it's like, I don't think I can watch it constantly.
hmm
Like, you know, you get some movies where you're like, yeah, I could watch that like every day.
Yeah,
So I couldn't do it with that, but I think that's part of the charm to it. It's just like, no, because then you get to keep that like same level
hmm
every time you watch it.
I
Just
think that's
appreciate it.
how The Winter Soldier is for me. It's one of those films where I feel like I could watch at least once a week, and I'm like, yes, yes. But there's not too many comic book ones where I'm like, I
Yeah.
could do this.
See, I haven't watched Winter Soldier probably since I can't even remember.
Oh man,
I think I skipped it for my MCU.
no,
I legitimately think I skipped it.
oh no.
No, I couldn't have skipped it. It's too important to everything.
No,
I,
same,
can't,
yeah.
I actually can't remember that when I watched that movie.
See, I know it's good whenever I'll go to someone's house and they're like, "Oh, watching a Marvel movie," and I'm like, "There's a good chance it's Winter Soldier." Ah, yes, it is.
No, I bet it's Bucky. Isn't it?
One time I walked over to my friend's house and she's like, "Oh, I'm watching a Marvel movie." I'm like, "Sweet, what are you watching?" She goes, "Oh, the Thor: The Dark World." I was like, "Yeah, okay." Yeah,
Bye.
we're gonna fix this, so we made her change it to the Ragnarok, and that was a good call.
Nice, nice.
uh So, of course, I am your host, Armin. I'm here for another great podcast. Surely it will be an amazing show. And, of course, I am joined, as always, by Mitch.
What's up? You can find me at Mitch692.
And in case you guys are wondering, where's Tristan? We're doing this, and it's approximately he's asleep still time because of
Well, fun fact: California had an earthquake earlier, so I imagine he should be awake. He's just probably still shaking.
Oh, okay.
I think they're like 4:30 in the morning. They had an earthquake, and people are still talking about it on my timeline.
Oh, so he's living real life San Andreas. Okay. So
Yeah,
that's what's
yeah,
happening
yeah.
now. All right. So we got the timeline of it. I didn't even notice that, but that's because like the news has just been. I turn off the news because I can't bother with it. I'm just like, oh
Really?
my god, it's all
With
the
all the
same
talk
garbage.
about like alien DNA at the minute on like mainstream news.
Whoa. I get all my alien talk from the king himself, Jones, okay? I only go to the sources for real news.
I mean, I'm pretty certain he'd agree that modern medicine has alien DNA in it.
Oh, definitely. You can't prove it doesn't, so can you prove it does? I mean, you show me.
I mean, you might go looking for it. You might find demon sperm, but you never know what you're going to find in the vaccine these days.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, God.
What a world. What a world.
What a world we live in, yes. Yes, that's why I turn off the news. That's why I've just been playing endless hours of Ghost of Tsushima. And, yep, it's a good game. And
I'm having to wait for the PS5 for that. I'm upset.
Oh, man. It's literally, I think it's the most beautiful game I've seen in my life, and I can only imagine how good that game is going to look at like 4K, 120 frames a second, upgraded with like ray tracing. I think the PS5 might actually take off into the stratosphere.
Oh yeah, that's why it's massive.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
That's why it's got the shape it's got. If you turn it upside down, it's aerodynamic.
Well, it does look like a damn rocket ship from like an alien species.
No, I really want to get a new monitor for the PS5, but like, I think like what I'm looking at saying like a 1080p one, but it's still like 144 hertz and HDR and all that. It's just like I kind of need that, especially for like a game like Ghost of Tsushima. It's like, I'm gonna need an upgrade.
Yeah, when I plugged it into my G-Sync ultra wide, like just to see how it looks, like the colors are so much more vibrant than my actual TV. I was like, oh Lord, like.
I really wanted an ultra wide, but then it's like, oh yeah, consoles don't support it. I'm just like, oh
no, they don't.
I'm not spending that much money on like having a third of the screen or 2/3 blacked out. Like, yeah, that's
see, I got lucky with my ultra wide because like I bought it like a year and a half ago, and it was a good like Amazon deal, and I ended up returning something that didn't work, so they like refunded me $200. So it was only like $450 at the time, even though it's like a $700 monitor. Nice. So the G-Sync though, that's the greatest because the picture doesn't. Freaking rip up.
I hate screen tear. It's the bane of my existence.
That's why a lot of people don't do PC gaming, because it's like unless your rig is good and you got an expensive monitor, you're getting tearing. It's like, oh, it sucks.
I mean, you get tearing on consoles anyway, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Unfortunate. Maybe next gen can fix that.
They better, because it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's yeah, a little tricky with that. So hopefully with that in mind, everybody, hopefully you guys are all having a good time, a good week, a good new month by the time you all hear this. And with that, let's just jump into our straight first up topic that we got here. Let me just pull up that paper. I'm trying to stall.
It's a doozy.
It's a doozy. Topic number 1. This is how you open up a great show. Marvel TV's Jeff Loeb accused of racial profiling and racism.
Massive racist.
Massive racist. Ooh.
Which, benefit of hindsight, I ain't surprised.
Not at all.
It makes a lot of sense. The guy who wrote Ultimatum, I can see it.
So here's the thing. Jeff Loeb, most of you that are listening to this will probably know who he is. Some of you might not. He's the guy that ran Marvel TV. For Marvel, because it was a split, Kevin Feige movies, Loeb TV. He's the guy that was in charge of, all the Netflix stuff, the ABC stuff, all that. And what happened was this past week, one of the actors in Daredevil, the Red Ninja Nobu,
Peter Shinkoda,
yep, who is actually Sean here from the show, who, does stuff with Mitch. He's actually friends with him, so, we were like, well, what's happening? And Sean was like, oh, yeah, there's things.
It's bad. Bad.
It's out here.
What Peter said isn't even the beginning of it.
Yeah.
So... I'm not going to say it because it's not my place to say it.
Uh-huh.
But it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at it, but it's really bad. It's like how they actually... even stayed on there.
Yeah, and like, Peter just to first off to say, the simple thing he said is like, oh, I was supposed to be like in the Defenders, like the villain, Nobu, like I was gonna have a bigger role, and well, I was cut due to racial, because they were like, oh, well, Asians, nobody wants to see them on TV, and then even though they were featured in season 2. Him, the actress that played Madame Gao and stuff, were overlooked by Jeff Loeb, and he didn't even invite them to the premiere.
Quote overlooked.
Overlooked, yeah.
It was like, yeah, no, they're not coming. That's crazy.
Honestly, that is really scummy. Like,
yeah.
That's.
And you can obviously see like you're not just going to be racist against Asians. You're going to have it with other people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a Luke Cage series. You can kind of figure out what was going on in there. You had Iron Fist. You can definitely figure out what was going on in there.
Yeah.
But what gets me is like 90% of the Marvel shows have Asians and people of color in it.
Uh-huh. Well,
Runaways has got Nikki. S.H.I.E.L.D. literally focuses around Daisy, and May's a massive part of that show.
Yep.
It's like, what's going on? Like, what?
I still think there's holdover from, obviously there was the upper, like, we know Bob Iger, and we know ABC, who ABC produced the Netflix series and stuff. We know they always pushed for diversity, and they were at the helm being like, so I think they were making the calls, but obviously Loeb in charge of the situation and stuff was undermining them behind the scenes, which were definitely kind of getting that hint. And again, it's unfortunate that we get that news from the last couple of years, and now it starts to sort of paint a picture of more of why Kevin Feige would have wanted to stay away from all that. Like,
because you want to know why he didn't get Ghost Rider? Now you know.
Yep.
Absolutely, because of this. Absolutely. If Feige probably didn't know for certain, if he didn't know for certain, he probably had an inkling. He probably had rumblings from people. It's probably why.
Yeah.
Probably why.
And again, that sucks because, like I've said before, I've met Jeff Loeb before just at a New York Comic Con. The dude was really nice to me, open to talking. Like, he was just like, oh, cool, yeah, let's just, you literally stood aside with me and talked with me in, like, the middle of the floor because nobody recognized who he was. And I was like, dude, that is amazing. But, like, again, we see that people can be like this, and then you don't know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So, again, it's really terrible that this is how all this came out. And I hope more happens with this and we hear more, because I hope more actors also speak up on it as well, because there's so much.
I think they will. I think you're going to have a start in this is just going to snowball further and further.
I would hope so. It's just, it's terrible to see this is how they were treated. And especially, and people can tell me in the comments if they don't agree with this, but Nobu was amazing in Daredevil season 1.
Yeah. I don't know a single person. The only people I've seen speak out against Nobu are the ones that are defending a white man's career right now over the experience of an Asian actor, being like, well, he wasn't anything in the comics anyway. It's like, so?
Yeah.
What does that matter?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, like, perspective. Like, it's a natural person we're talking about, not a fictional character in a book.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I don't, like, Nobu, he deserved more. He was fantastic as Nobu.
Yep.
I've said it to people recently before. I liked having Sigourney Weaver in Defenders.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, like, just getting Sigourney Weaver in general was great, but at the expense of someone like that for what we could have had. Because let's be honest, it hurt the show.
Oh God, yeah.
It hurt the overall series. Like, Nobu and the Hand having their arc just cut because they're Asian characters.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, no, it hurt the show. I'd rather have Sigourney Weaver somewhere else and actually flesh out the thing you've actually started to write.
And just so people understand, getting Sigourney Weaver on board a project takes literally months of discussions and a huge payday. She doesn't just do anything. Like,
nope.
Like, we've known about, offers she's been offered to, like, come back for an Alien film, or to come back here for a TV series, or do a TV series, and she turns it away because she's just like, I'm not that interested, and also, the money was all right. It's like, dude, Fox was willing to shell out, according to some reports, like $15 million for her to come back for an Alien, and she was like, no. So just imagine that. Like, that blows my mind how much
Yeah.
Marvel TV might have spent. And then this makes me look at the other reports of Jeff Loeb siphoning money away from other projects like Inhumans and Iron Fist to make other things possible. Makes me look at those reports that we were once before like, no. I'm
Oh yeah,
to
it's
think.
completely changed my perspective on everything that's happened.
Yeah.
Completely changed it.
It-
It's just like, wow, like it was definitely a Pearl Matter holdover.
Oh, God, yeah.
Definitely.
I could see how Perlmutter wanted him to push more stuff forward while he just had a thumb on and everything Marvel until Kevin Feige was like, no.
This is mine now.
Yeah. So that's the, unfortunate news we had with Marvel this week. I just hope something happens with this. I hope more people come out and speak out about it, and I hope things are made right with some of these actors.
I
That's my
hope
hope.
Disney does an internal investigation, and I think people should be pressing them to do an internal investigation
Yeah.
and get his name off everything.
Yeah.
Completely discredit him from every project and every book he's ever done.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
even like comic writers are coming out and being like, yeah, like not surprising. No, and giving out their examples is crazy. Like, it's been
Yeah.
happening for decades.
Well, we've seen some stuff, and there was a few comic writers that posted a few things. A bunch of them got deleted.
Yeah.
But oh boy, was Jeff Loeb a shady sounding figure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're a little old lady, stay away from Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, definitely.
He doesn't like you whatsoever.
Do not go near him.
Dude is a piece of work.
So yeah, that's our first topic there. If you guys have any thoughts on this, let us know how you feel about it, and of course, what do you think they should do with Jeff Loeb? If they can do anything, because we understand he's probably been removed from everything Marvel, but we don't know. So I mean,
I'm saying he's like Pelmer. He's still there, but it's kind of in name only.
yeah,
Like he can't really do anything. But if this carries on, and Disney they do an investigation, they'll be like, yeah, he's done. He's out.
yeah. So
Just please don't question. Oh, why do you wait years? Like there's contracts in place. They can't come out and smear the show.
yeah,
Or people work the show while they're working on it. So that's why it takes years.
right. And I mean, imagine how it's gonna sound if here comes Hellstrom, Jeff Loeb. Wait, isn't that the Hellstrom's
I mean,
gonna...
Hellstrom was dead on arrival anyway.
Oh, of course it is, but it's going to be deader if he's attached to it and all over, and he's got to do interviews about it. So you're just gonna, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna quiet him up for a bit, and we're not gonna hear.
Have you seen that meme someone's made of Shield, and it's on Daisy, and it's like a list of different screenshots. And she's smiling, and as it goes down, the smile goes. As that smile goes, Jeff Loeb's name appears in the credits.
Oh,
And it's like, if an editor timed that, well done. That's fantastic.
that's perfect.
Subliminal messaging has been there the entire time.
That is perfect. Perfect. So how about that Haley Steinfeld? Apparently things are looking good for her becoming a Marvel series regular now, so that's good.
What a roller coaster this has been.
Yeah, it has. Yep.
She's got it. She hasn't got it. She doesn't want it. She can't do it. She's got it. No, she hasn't got it. Now apparently she's got it.
Yeah. So what Marvel is apparently what's happened is due to everything happening, all the production delays and stuff, things might have lined up so Haley is going to become Kate Bishop.
I say report. Apparently she's already signed the deal.
They're
Just waiting to be announced.
they're looking to start production in October. I would believe so. Yeah. I mean,
Even when this came out, I think it was on the Illuminati.
mhm.
I think done this one. I can't remember. I'm not sure if that's the name or not.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about, oh, she's passed up on it. She didn't actually want it, and it's like, oh, they got the name of an old casting grid, which has had her name on it for ages. So it's like, is it legit? It's not. And then other people started coming out and being like, oh, no, actually, yeah, it's legit. So it's kind of.
Can you imagine being a young up and coming actress like that and not being interested in Marvel Studios? I don't know.
I mean, she has said before, she was obviously interested because she had about 5 different meetings with them. Even when they're like, oh no, she's passed up on it. She's still meeting with them because Marvel was desperate.
Yeah.
I was desperate for this this casting. But yeah, she has said that. Oh no, I want to focus on my music career. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's just like, is she just saying that because she's a bit salty she can't do the role? Or is that like legitimate? Like, no, I kind of want to focus on this right now.
I mean, that's one of those things that I'm also questioning as well, because we've always seen actors and actresses that end up passing up the Marvel role, and then, you know, the role goes and becomes big, and they're like, well, actually, this thing I did, like, you know, what's her name who passed up on Gamora, and she's like, well, I didn't want to wear makeup, so it's a good thing.
I can't remember her name.
Amanda something, I think? It might be Amanda.
No, I can't remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, though. But you get what I'm saying. Like, there's always that regret. And maybe she's saying it just because she wants to make it seem like, you know, maybe she wants a bigger payday, because we know for your first role in the Marvel Studios, there's a good chance you're going to get not so good of a contract for your one or two first appearances. Then after that, they'll be like, okay, here's the money you actually deserve. Like, you know, so...
Now, a part of me, Steinfeld was always my number one at first. It was always my number one. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy with Steinfeld. I'm perfectly happy with that. And then you hear who they're looking at other than her.
Yeah.
It's like, there's I can't remember. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce the name. I will butcher it. It's like Tysa Farmiga. Very, very new. Hasn't done a lot. If people know how to pronounce the name and know what she's been in, shout out.
She is tremendous. Like, she's such a good actress.
And then you have Olivia Cook.
Her too, yeah.
And I'm like, I want that now.
Yep.
I want that one.
She would be my number one choice, because I've seen her act as well, and she is just, like, all three of these choices are great. So I'm like, like, they're clearly looking at somebody very talented.
Yeah, like, fair play. Cook's slightly on the older side. Okay. Yeah. Later 20s, but Cook looks about 12 anyway, so you can pass off.
Yeah.
It's like younger than Steinfeld, probably. So it's one of those like, I really want Cook, where it's like, I'm happy they got Steinfeld. You know, it's the one they wanted. They're going to be happy with it. But like, it's been so up and down. It's been crazy, because Cook was real close to signing that deal. It was real close.
Well, I mean,
I think if the pandemic didn't happen, or if the shutdown happened like 2 weeks later on, it would have absolutely been Olivia Cook.
Yeah, it's one of these things where, like, all these actresses that we're hearing, I'm like, you know what, this is all good choices. Like, I wouldn't mind it if, like, any of them got it. I wouldn't be, like, bummed that the other one's, you know, not the one that gets it, because it's like, no, this is really good. Like, it's good choices all around. So again, it makes me wonder, like, how long until we actually hear something, right? Because it's got to happen soon.
It's got to be. A trade has to report it soon. Yeah. There's no way they don't. But if a trade comes out and is like, oh yeah, by the way, it's none of those three, I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah.
There was a fourth person in play? Madness.
Catherine Langford is finally going to get the role since they cut her out of Endgame.
Please no. I won't watch Hawkeye then.
Oh, you don't like her?
No, there's something about her. I think she's like very smuggish from what I've seen.
She does come off of that. Like, she has that face when she acts, and I don't know if maybe that's something.
Yeah, I think, the resting bitch face. Like,
yeah.
It's very much like, she doesn't, I don't know. It's just something about her. I haven't seen her in a lot, to be fair, so I shouldn't really judge it, but...
Yeah.
For what I've seen, it's I know. I'm happy with Steinfeld.
Same.
She'll nail it. She's also, I think she's half Filipino. So you got some rep in there as well, some Asian rep. So people want Asian Kate Bishop, you got it.
Huh. Is she? Because she doesn't look like it to me, but then I don't know. So
pretty certain she is.
Well, that would be another check mark for what they want, which is diversity. So yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. Overall, I think we're both happy if she gets it. I think that's kind of the takeaway for this one. Like,
oh yeah, if she's got it, I'm happy. I'm absolutely happy. Yep. Yeah, her maternal grandmother is Filipino and her mother is Filipino.
Oh, okay. Huh. Oh, there we go. There we go. So we keep hearing about something happening, something with Han Solo. Something's got to happen, apparently. We don't know what.
Apparently a few things.
Apparently a few things. The most recent report was Ron Howard himself just last night was like, I'm not aware of anything happening with a Solo sequel, but that's a Solo sequel. Like, read between the lines there. That's what that tells me. Like, it's not going to be a Solo 2 because they're not going to call it that on Disney Plus or whatever.
I think the whole... they're not going to call it Solo 2. They'll probably call it something else. But I think what it is they were developing like a crime syndicate series.
Yeah.
Like following off. Because obviously we had that cliffhanger at the end with, what's the name? Kira and Maul.
Yep.
Which, unlucky Sam Parks. Yeah, I think that show just kind of naturally developed into a full-on sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Or like as a series, so you probably get like I can't remember his name. What's guy who plays Solo?
Oh, Alden.
That's the one. Is it Alden? I can't.
Aaron Reich, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. Like, I imagine he's going to be involved in it somehow because if there's talks about it actually being a Solo sequel, like, you kind of need him in it. So it's interesting how these things like just change. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to have a Lando, like a crime syndicate or a Crimson Dawn sort of series, and then hey,
I think
just make it a full-on sequel. Why not?
It would make sense if he does come back and does something with the crime syndicates. It wouldn't make sense continuity-wise if he ever runs into Darth Maul, because he doesn't believe in Jedi, lightsabers, the Force, or any of that by the time A New Hope.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I'm assuming it'll be multiple stories. Like maybe he runs back into Kiara again and teams up with Lando and have to do something, but he never runs into Darth Maul directly. Like that would sort of make sense, you know?
I mean, you could have them interact. Like, you just don't have the lightsaber be shown.
Yeah, or the Force on display or anything like that. Yeah, see, that could work.
Like, if you just have it over the hologram, then it's fine.
Yeah, true. Or, like, he's a masked figure that nobody knows because he's got to be in hiding because of everything going on. Like, again, there's a way to cheese it in there, so like, you can get away with it.
Solo, and cheese it is literally the name of the game, so...
that is true.
You got to ham fist things into this series because apparently that's what you do in Solo.
That is, yeah. Now, with that in mind, since they're looking to do all these things, with, I guess, multiple spin-offs and whatever, something that I kind of think that they'll probably do more of is maybe trying to explore things that aren't necessarily direct connected to all these things. Like, the syndicate, the crime syndicates are like removed enough away from the Skywalker saga that you could just watch them on their own, it feels like, and you'll be like, yeah, okay, this is something I could get into. I want to see how they do that with characters that maybe aren't well known. Like, we still don't know what that other series being worked on by the female director is. And I'm hoping...
No, don't.
I'm hoping maybe something more along those lines where it's all new characters and, like, at some point maybe we can get away even from Solo and just be like, look, new characters you've never heard of. They're not connected in some way, shape, or form to anybody from the prequels, sequels, or the new trilogy. Like, okay, I want to see if anything gets to that point or maybe spins off into something like that from one of these, because that would be kind of cool, to see.
It would be cool, but I don't know if they're willing to take that risk on doing like a live action thing or even like a cartoon with a brand new character. I know like Ahsoka was like the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, hey, here's a new character, but she's being propped up by these two people you know already. Kind of thing. Like, have they ever actually done something where it's just like, bang, here's new people?
Yeah.
Apart from, I suppose Mandalorian, but even then, it's being propped up on the idea that's Boba Fett really is. No, it's Baby Yoda.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, it's still's got that connection. So, yeah, I'm just interested to see what they do. I mean, whatever it is, I will watch it. It doesn't matter. It has Star Wars on it. I'm in. You got me already with the name because I'm a sheep like that for Star Wars. So,
Sheep Wars.
That's me. I'm a sheep for Star Wars. I can't help it. That's how they've trained me. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I think if we hear anything about this, it'll still be a little bit of time because they got other projects they got to get on first. Considering we know that
Cassian.
Yeah, Cassian Andor announced along with Mandalorian. Where is it, guys?
Yeah, it hasn't even started.
Oh, that series.
Take your best. What's going to come out first? Obi-Wan Kenobi or Cassian?
Obi-Wan.
Or New Mutants?
Don't put me on a spot like that. Come on.
You have three. Which one will come out first?
Uh, um, I mean, I'm gonna go New Mutants because it's right around the corner, but it's probably gonna get delayed.
That's absolutely going to get delayed. They're talking about a second wave in the UK, so yeah, those 10 cinemas that are open, bye bye.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Sorry, Tenet. Every time Tenet tries to move, something happens.
It's true.
WB just stop trying to move Tenet. 2020 does not want that movie to happen. Stop trying to make it a thing.
Yeah. 2020 hasn't been kind to anybody, especially Ray Park's noodle.
Hey, we brought it back around again.
See, there we go.
So, Ray Parks not Ray Parks. Darth Maul is apparently going to be in multiple series.
Whoa, Sam Witwer just got a whole lot of new career opportunities.
He's just like, yes.
Watch him. He hacked into Ray Park's account just to throw him under the bus. He's using the crime syndicate technology.
He's like, you're not being Michael Keaton to my Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Like, no way. You're taking my job.
For people that don't know what's happening, just Google up Ray Park Instagram and see what happened, and you'll be good. You'll be good. So with that in mind, let's transition over to our final topic. Possibly one of the biggest industry-changing pieces of news, I would say, since, oh my God, it might be since before I was born. Honestly, like this is. I was
going to say probably in my lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the section of the show I like to call "We Were Right Again."
This is yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't believe this when I read the headline. Even though
I had to read it a couple of times.
It was from Variety. I was like, no, this is one of those articles somebody misdirects. And then Deadline, and then I was like, okay, this has got to be real. And then reading it, 17 days after theatrical releases, video on demand. Holy hell!
Wow, and that's with Universal. Imagine what's like, because let's be honest here, it ain't just going to be Universal who has this.
Oh hell no!
There's no way. Like, Warner Bros. Is going to get this. I think Disney might take their time because they've been very coy on the whole VOD thing. Like, yes, they tried it with. Well, I say tried it. They done it with Artemis Fowl, which. Let's be honest, that was not going to make money anyway. That movie was horrific.
Yep.
That was bad. Waste of an hour and a half. But they've been very coy with trying with anything else. Mm-hmm. So I think they're probably going to be the last ones to do it. I could be completely wrong, and it's the other way, and they're like, no, we know these movies will make a fortune. Yeah. We want like a week, which, please, I can settle for a week. I will wait a week longer.
I mean,
just to watch it at home.
I've already seen some people that were opposed to the idea already turning on it now that it's going to happen with something. Like, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he was like, well, I think it's kind of stupid. And I was like, so you think it's stupid that a year from now, I can invite you to my house, you come over with your girlfriend, another friend stops by, 7 of us rent it for $20, we got our own food, we can barbecue and just watch a new movie? He was like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. I was like, yeah, that's my point. It doesn't sound too bad. Like,
yeah. So it's made me laugh because I've been pretty vocal about this from the beginning, and you got tons of crap, ton of clownery. It's like, oh, stop clowning around, and it's like as the months have gone on, more and more people are kind of realizing, like, yeah, this is gonna have to be where it goes.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to really make that money right now, like, you're not going to make everything you made in like a theater or cinema. You're going to have to take a hit. But if it keeps going the way it is, which all signs point to it is, and I wonder who could have seen that one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to have to be, you're going to have to play ball with VOD.
Yeah.
It's going to have to. It's the only way. Like, whether it's accelerated it or not, well, I imagine it has. I still think within 5 years we would have been at this point anyway. But yeah, it was easily spotted. People just didn't want to admit it.
People don't want to give up what they're comfortable with. And exactly. They were comfortable with the old formula, and they're like, this is going to ruin, the future of cinema, and you can't do this, and it's not how it's done. It's like, they used to say that, like, 30 years ago. They would say that about TV. Well, you can't have an action-packed or a crime serious show on TV. That just doesn't work. You have to go and see The Godfather in theaters. And then Sopranos comes along and goes, wait, what were you saying about you can't do this? And then The Wire comes along, and then Game of Thrones, and people are like, I would rather watch.
I was
these
gonna say
shows.
the whole like stigma around shows like not being like you can't have the budget for a show. A show's got to be this long,
Right.
especially in the States. Like, a show has to be 22 episodes. You can't have a massive budget for that long. And it's like no, you can shrink that and have a massive like movie level budget for a show, and you get something like The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
It's like look, you can do that. Like stuff's changing quickly, but humans are very cyclical. We like to think that is this 5G now? Like we know that this is going to be bad. It's like, well, people said that with 4G, and people said that with 3G. People said that with 2G. They said that every single time. People refusing to wear masks in the pandemic. Guess what? Happened every single time.
Right. It's
like you're not smart or clever right now. We've all done it.
It's like a repeating, cycle that we're in. And I want to point this out to people, as a lot of people that listen to these podcasts know, I love history. It was my favorite subject. When I took extra film, I would do extra history on the side. I loved it. At one point in history, in our real history, this might blow some of your people's minds. People would listen to the radio, and there was no TV or anything. And a person working at a newspaper said, that's interesting, but what if you missed the radio? He went to his local newspaper and pitched a column where he talks about the most recent sports and what was happening and makes predictions and opinions. And he was laughed at until a couple weeks later, they were like, we're running out of columns. What can we do? So he printed the first ever highlight of the broadcast and what was happening. And that evolved to sports statistics and whole newspaper sections based on sports, which was once laughed at, and everybody said, well, you can't do that because nobody wants that. That's not how we do it. Again, we're in that same situation again. It keeps evolving. I remember my dad telling me he used to go, play arcade games. And suddenly people are like, well, you can bring arcade games home. And people are like, but that's not how you do it. It's all about the social thing. And again, video games evolved to be where they are today. So you got to, at some point, adapt. And that's what Hollywood is doing. And they're going to keep, let's say hypothetically, they're selling a movie for $20, which is going to be, some might be 25 we're hearing. Fine. They're splitting it with AMC. It's a split cost. Even if Universal gets 70%, AMC 30%, it's pure profit for both of them.
And even if AMC take more of the actual physical ticket sales, Universal won't care because they're getting that all back on board.
Exactly.
So it's literally the win-win for the pair of them. And I don't understand. I never understand people so object to the idea. I know there's this fear-mongering that they're going to close and go away. It's like, no, they're not.
No.
They'll only go away if they are dumb about it. If you're a Blockbuster about it, or a HMV, like our only music franchise about it, then yes, you're going to go away because you've been dumb about it. If you've been smart about it, you're going to hang around. Look at bookstores. So that every time we've had this conversation, bookstores are literally the shining beacon of hope you want. Copy bookstores. They do it physically. You got Amazon over here doing Kindle.
Yeah.
We got Google with Kindle. Everything's got a bloody ebook on it now. It's fine. People still like physical books.
Yeah.
It's like comics. People love, I've never seen something so against digital than comic books. But it's just going to happen. You have your big event movies for cinemas, which, to be honest, I only go to a cinema when there's a massive event movie. Everything else I watch at home. And if I can get more indie films at home, which are the better ones, and I can watch without, being in a fucking massive room, not full of people, but you get the stinky people in the front.
Yeah.
Then I'm happy with that. I will gladly pay £25 to watch that movie at home.
I mean,
and yes, I know the prices don't really help the solo viewer or the single viewer. It is a bit expensive in that part, but if you just get two people, literally one other person watching it with you.
Yeah.
It's the same price. What's the matter?
I don't
watch the movie twice. There you go. Well done. You just saved money.
Exactly. It's all going in that direction. Things are changing. This is what we've been saying here since this began. It's going to be how the future goes. And I can see WB is going to be resistive because they have directors like Chris Nolan. And they get a director like, what the hell's his name who did Joker? God damn it.
Oh, I can't remember his name. Like, he's not worth remembering, to be honest.
Todd Phillips.
That's the one, yeah.
And, you get guys like that are like, no, we still have to shoot on film and we have to do this and our budget's got to be $500 million with advertising for some reason for this film. Like, you get guys like that are going to be resistant to it, and the studio will hold off as long as possible on them. But others, like Universal, has seen what can happen. And I guarantee you, the film like Invisible Man did so good on video on demand that was the sign. Because I want to see The Invisible Man, but I was like, oh man, it's going to be like a week in my theater and it'll be gone by then. And then suddenly everything happens and it's on video on demand. I remember I waking up and Shay's like, you just want to watch that now? I was like, yeah. Bought it, watched it right then and there. Like it was convenient.
I got that the first day it came out and I was like, yes, I'm happy now. This is my dream. I'm happy now. Now, if it was all day and date, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I can settle right now for it not being day and date because obviously it's just kind of starting out. So 3 weeks, I will happily wait 3 weeks.
Oh God, yeah. Dude, 3 weeks is nothing. Like that's, fine. You're missing the boom of the first conversation. Cool.
Perfectly fine.
But
Perfectly fine.
You're still within the first month. And my only thing about this is I feel like Disney might try to resist it for a bit as well. Because
I don't think they will.
Really?
Unless there's something like HBO thing. But that's only for Fox movies, isn't it?
Yeah, because Disney decided to start pulling all their licenses at the end of last year. Hell, they've even spent a lot of money to buy back some of those sales. So,
because over here, Onward's still on. Yeah, you still can't watch Onward on Disney Plus.
Oh, damn.
You've only just got Frozen 2.
Wow. Yeah, that's those deals.
Whether that's because of a Sky deal, I assume it is. But it's kind of like, I want to watch Onward.
Yeah.
I kind of resent paying for it when the States got it free on Disney Plus within 2 weeks. I'm like, no, Disney.
Yeah.
I put my foot down on this one time. I think WB and Disney will. I think Warner Brothers actually. I think Scoob did pretty well.
I mean, yeah, I think so too. And to be honest with you, I think Paramount is going to announce it next. They're going to be the one to follow Universal, and then the other two will be like, so guys, pressure's on you now. Come on, like
you watch Universal put not Universal, Paramount put like Fast and Furious on there, or whoever has Fast and Furious. That's the next one.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
But what I want to know as well, this is only with AMC.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens with everyone else? Like AMC, just like the be all and end all. I know they're the biggest in the States. But like, there's more franchises than AMC, so how does it work with other ones? Like, does it get pulled from every other chain because it's not an AMC?
Yeah, that's a good. Huh.
That's my only question, because it's like, what is AMC? I know what it is, but it's more like, do they think they're everything? Are they like the cinema group or something?
Right, yeah, because that is an interesting one. Because again, like, how big are they? And I'm looking right now. They own...
I think they're like the biggest.
Yeah, 1,000 theater locations owned by them.
Yeah, so that's like a quarter of all the states.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fifth, isn't it? It's nuts. But I don't know, because they haven't said what's going to happen. Like, how does it work with the rest of them? Do like the smaller chains just carry on as normal and they haven't got a say in it? Or do they just go, all right, well, movies are only a nice thing for 3 weeks now. Oh, goodbye.
Yeah, that's
nuts if that's the case.
I mean,
that's nuts.
Well, that's a thing. Like, let's say your Regal theaters, right, which are another big chain here in the United States. Like, what do you do? Because you're clearly going to lose sales. Like, it's definitely going to happen. Like, and if you're agreeing, like, let's say you're Regal and you're like, okay, fine, I'm going to show the next Jurassic World because that's going to be one of upcoming Universal's films. Great, that's cool. Okay, but what benefit do you get when it releases on video? Oh, you don't. Like, and you still got to pay for the reel, and you're splitting up your theatrical take with the studio. Like, I think this is going to lead into an interesting direction. And remember, there was a rumor that AMC could be sold to somebody. Is Universal going to possibly swoop in?
Yeah, I reckon that AMC aren't going to last. That's another thing with it still. It's all well and good they've signed it. Is AMC going to survive?
Yeah.
Because the way it's going, I don't think they are.
Ugh.
I don't think in many places. So it might be one of those like, oh yeah, we signed the deal, but they're gone. We haven't got to honor it. So, meh, no, we'll do what we want anyway.
Exactly.
But it's an interesting time. It's definitely one worth keeping up with because it's probably like the biggest single thing to happen.
Yeah.
Like edit-wise for a few generations now.
Yeah, this is like the next biggest thing next to when they announced that like VCR and Beta were going to be fighting for each other. It's like, oh wow, you're going to be able to bring these home to watch? What? That's insane. Like, yeah, it's pretty
Now
big.
you haven't even got to move. It's just there.
Yeah, it's just there. It just happens to be there. Convenience, I guess.
Very quickly, that Wally future's happening.
Oh yeah, it is.
Out on floating chairs, and I for one welcome it. Personally, I welcome my chair overlords. To be honest,
we're all gonna look like Professor X in his gliding chair. Ooh, just hover across the floor. It's gonna be good.
I need my arms and my legs.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, that has brought us to the end of the show. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed it. Obviously, a little less topics this week, but it hasn't been as eventful as some other weeks. So, it is what it is. Hopefully, this is kind of how it's been bouncing, though. Eventful week, then, and
I mean, this week was fairly big.
Yeah,
there was some decent stuff. Like, it wasn't like groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Like, the whole AMC Universal thing is, but like the whole Haley Steinfeld thing is pretty. It's just pretty funny that Haley Steinfeld one. The Jeff Loeb bit is probably the worst.
Yeah.
What a twat.
Sounds like he might need a promotion. You think DC will pick him up since they don't seem to want to get rid of anybody that's done terrible things?
Amber Heard. J.K. Rowling.
I mean, let's talk quickly about the whole J.K. Rowling thing, right? I remember she stated it multiple times, she wanted Disney to get the license for Harry Potter. Like, that was one of her first choices, because it's like, it's a perfect fit.
God.
And they turned her away multiple times, because the rule with Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling is, whatever happens, anything that has to happen, any game, spin-off, movie, anything in that property, has to go through her, and she can never be removed from it. That's why Disney, when they signed on Marvel, it was still early on. They were like, fine, you got to stay here and you got to stay here. Star Wars, they were like, no. George Lucas, you hand it over or you're gone, because they didn't want to get into a J.K. Rowling situation where it's like, oh no, what have we done?
Kathleen Kennedy will keep you though.
Yeah.
Kennedy, that's fine.
It's, I don't know, man. Like, I'm starting to feel like WB made some really bad choices with scoring some of these deals just to score them. Like,
oh yeah.
What were you guys thinking?
And they can't go back to Lord of the Rings because the Tolkien estate hates those movies, which I would never understand why. They're masterpieces, but
yeah, I mean, Amazon now is doing the live action stuff, and WB owns the game and comic rights, but the comic rights aren't happening for some reason. If I don't remember, I talked to someone that I was like, that's confusing. So,
but yeah, it's. J.K. Rowling sucks instead of Harry Potter.
Oh, I'm not a fan of that franchise at all. Nope.
People can still like Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, totally.
Just because Rowling's a turf, don't mean you can't like Harry Potter. It's perfectly fine.
Exactly.
Just be known that it sucks. And
yeah. Remember, people hated George Lucas for the prequels and still watched Star Wars and bought everything, and now they cry that he's some sort of genius messiah that they always loved, despite the fact they hated him and chased him away from Star Wars. So what, it is what it is. Yeah. So with that in mind, we'll catch you all next week. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully you all have a good weekend.